And it came close but no cigar. We intend to change that this year. There is a member of the Texas House of Representatives who he fits the conservative Tea Party mold. Now, I've only just gotten to know him, but so many of my friends adore him. So he's just a great committed conservative. And Brooke Rollins, who's the head of the Texas Public Policy Foundation, told me that a while back they had an event and their speaker had to cancel on them 6 hours before the event. And the only person they could call who they knew could do a good job on stage with no preparation was our next speaker. I got to tell you, I was interviewed by a reporter the other day who asked me what I thought of Juan Williams' comments about the Tea Party being older, white, and, well, not really liking minorities. I said, so you mean the Tea Party was with Alan West, we're with Calvin Turnquist, we were with Nikki Haley, we were with Bobby Jindal, we were with Ted Cruz, we were with Mia Love, we were with Marco Rubio. It's the old white guys in Washington who are with the old white guys running for office, and it's the Tea Party who are with the fresher faces of diverse backgrounds. And we have another fresh face in Texas who is a conservative, who is committed to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and smaller government. And I hope that he will be the next Speaker of the Texas House. Please help me welcome Scott Turner.
Thank you, Eric. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm so happy to see you. Welcome to Texas, for those of you who are not from Texas. It's a tremendous honor for me to stand before you on this day. And you know, I'm a kid from Richardson, Texas. Anybody ever heard of Richardson, Texas before? J.J. Pierce High School. A kid from Richardson, a former dishwasher at Spring Creek Barbecue. Yes, and I'm proud of that. You know, I'm a young man that grew up with two simple principles from my family, my mother and my father. One, to have a strong work ethic and to have an unshakable faith in the Lord Jesus. Those are the two principles that my mom and daddy taught me. And I'm humbled this morning to stand before you in this brief moment. And I was thinking about what I was going to say and what I would share with you. And I recall the day where I stood on the threshold of the front door of my house with my mother. My mother and I were on one side of the threshold and my father was on the other side. And at that particular moment, two things happened simultaneously. One, my family unit, as I knew it, was fractured and torn apart right before my eyes. And my mother and father separated on that day and ultimately divorced. And two, a dream, a vision, if you will, dropped into my heart and to the core of my being. I looked at my mom at that time and said, Mama, one day I'm going to play in the National Football League and I'm going to take care of you, as so many 10-year-old little boys had. Well, in 1995, that dream became a reality as I was drafted in the 7th round, pick number 226 by the Washington Redskins. And a lot of people say, well, how come you didn't play for the Cowboys? A lot of people say, why didn't you play for the Cowboys? I said, because Jerry didn't call me, the Redskins did. And I needed a job. I'm a businessman. But that dream was not without adversity. It was not without tremendous struggle, faith, hard work, running stadium steps, being told that I would never play a day in the National Football League. As a matter of fact, why don't you just get a new dream? It didn't come without being a dishwasher at Spring Creek Barbecue and wonderful people coming alongside of me to help me. But along the way, I had many opportunities to quit, many opportunities to throw in the towel, to give up, to fold up, but I kept working I kept struggling. I kept studying, kept on believing. I would stumble at times and I would fall and I would hit the ground, but I'd get right back up, keep on moving. I always persevered. Why? Because I had a dream and I had a vision. I had a pinpoint focus and a purpose for which I was striving. And it reminds me of our time together this morning, the RedState gathering. What is the meaning of a gathering? It is an assembly or the meeting, especially a social or festive one, or one that is held for a specific purpose. One that is held for a specific purpose. For what purpose are we here today? RedState exists to educate, to motivate, and to activate conservatives like you and I to engage our culture, to get involved in the political process, and to provide support and tools for boots on the ground. But what about us? For what purpose are we here? Like-minded individuals assembled together to effect change, to set the tone and the atmosphere of our surroundings and our sphere of influence according to our principles and our convictions. We're here to bring about transformation, restoration of our culture and our society. I'm here, you're here, because we all have a dream and a vision that one day that our great nation, the United States of America, will return to the nation it was meant to be. A nation founded on Judeo-Christian principles. The only nation with the same foundational document for over 238 years, a country with the principles of free enterprise, self-governance, entrepreneurship, faith, family, and freedom, built on the backs and the sacrifice, bloodshed of the men and women of old, America. That's our dream. That's our vision. And speaking of principles, speaking of values, this word value, the importance or the worth or the usefulness of something. And I ask myself the question oftentimes, do I, as a young man, as a Christian, as a believer, do those of you as Christians and advocates of principles such as integrity, virtue, honor, selflessness, honesty, courage, humility, righteousness, do we, do you, do these principles and values bring worth? Do they bring usefulness, advantage, benefit, and gain, and merit to our states, to our country, and to our society today? Have you ever contemplated that? Have you ever considered that? Or asked yourself that question? Because many would say that those principles are old school, that they're obsolete, that they are archaic, that they're not applicable to today's society. And whomever believes like these or advocates on behalf of these principles are one and the same, a foregone conclusion. But I say the contrary. What say you? These principles are not obsolete. They're not archaic. They are not trendy. Yes, they are old school. I like old school. How about you? The old school in the way that they transcend generations. They transcend culture, ethnicity, political parties, background, race, creed, tongue, gender, etc., etc. And we as believers, we as advocates of these principles absolutely bring worth. No question do we bring usefulness and merit and salt and light to our country, to our states, to our culture, and to our society today. Can I get a witness from anybody? But the only way that this will happen is a big if. If we will break the strongholds of apathy, break the strongholds of lethargy and fear. Benjamin Franklin, who was agnostic, the least religious of all of our founding fathers, he said this: "He who shall introduce into public affairs the principles of primitive Christianity will change the face of the world." He who will introduce into public affairs the principles of primitive Christianity will change the face of the world. Well, the face of the world back in the late 1700s was a lot different than the face of the world today. But I believe that it's time for a facelift in America. How about you? But the question is, are we willing? We have a dream. We have a vision that we all agree. But do we have the fortitude? Do we have the steadfastness and the willingness to step up? Look at what's happening in our country and in our world today. Look at what surrounds us. The struggles, mega poverty, abortion, national debt, local debt, crime, global terrorism, the breakdown of the family unit, the threat on our churches and religious freedoms and liberties, suicide, murders, people living in constant fear, anxiety, and depression. A spirit of hopelessness is felt by many. The depravity of moral goodness is surrounding us, and so on and so forth. How about you? Are you willing? Are you willing to step up and to introduce these principles into your society, into your culture, to be salt and light in our country today? Not just amongst each other. It's easy to set our hair on fire in here. But it's when we leave here. Not when it's easy, not when it's comfortable, but wherever you are. Whatever your assignment is, whomever your sphere of influence, not out of arrogance or a forceful attitude, but with respect, with passion and compassion for those that are around you, for our state and for our country, in spite of what it looks like today. Regardless of what pop culture is saying, or what the media portrays, or Hollywood promotes, our society is hurting. Our society is crying out, longing for the truth, the real truth, groaning in expectation for the real leaders, servant leaders, if you will, to be revealed. Those who are willing to stand up for what is right, even if they have to stand all alone. Those who are willing to stand for what is right, even if they have to stand all alone. Men and women who will be shining lights in the midst of darkness. What about us? The time is now. The harvest is sure enough ripe. That's a Texas word, sure enough. Yeah. How about it? I like old school. The harvest is right. There's no better time than the present. Many people in our society today feel hopeless. They've lost faith in our government. Exactly why you trust God and not the government. Some people say that America is too far gone. It will never return. It will never be the same. The progressive movement is on the run, but not me. I'm optimistic. I'm encouraged. I believe that the restoration of our country, of the United States of America, is back and that it is on the horizon. I believe not only is it possible, but it will happen in our lifetime. America is coming back to its godly culture. It's coming back to the heritage that we once knew. America is exceptional. America is special. And it's special because of our ability to be self-governing. It's special because of our ability to start from scratch. It's special because of our ability to get knocked down and get right back up. It's exceptional because of our innovation, our entrepreneurship, our business and commerce, defense, energy, telecommunications, etc., etc. But more importantly, America is exceptional because of hardworking, freedom-minded, liberty-loving citizens like you and so many others in our country. And I believe still today that we are the land of the free and the home of the brave. But in order for true restoration, in order for true transformation to occur, the chains of complacency and the shackles of status quo have got to be destroyed. I'm going to say that one more time. The chains of complacency and the shackles of status quo have got to be destroyed. Those things that hinder us, those things that bind us or keep us from growing, from advancing, the mindset of thinking everything is okay just as it is. Don't rock the boat. Don't shake it up. Everything is all right. Don't tear up the party. Let's just all get along. No, sir. The chains of complacency and the shackles of status quo have got to be destroyed. It's a must. It's today. See, in the NFL, can I tell y'all an NFL story right quick? I played 9 years in the NFL. Is that all right? Yeah. See, in the NFL, there's 53 men on a roster. This is football 101. 53 men on a roster. 11 starters on the field at any given time. And for every starter on the field, there are 5 people behind you, either on that team or wanting to get on the team to come take your job. So while you're on that field, the guys upstairs, the GM, the player personnel, the scouts, while you're out there playing and practicing, they're scouring the nation on film looking for somebody to take your place. That's why the NFL stands for not for long. No comfort, no loyalty in the NFL. The average career is 3.4 years. There's no room for complacency. No room for status quo. No room for thinking, I'm good, everything is okay. That mentality will rob us. It'll rob us as a person. It'll rob us in business. It'll rob us in ministry. It'll rob us as a state, and yes, as a nation. I'm reminded of a quote, I believe it's by Jim Collins, that says this: good is the enemy of great. Good is not good enough. You know how when you ask your kids, you ask them, oh yeah, how you doing in school? I'm doing good. Well, your standard of good and mine is different, son. Good is the enemy of great. But I'm glad that we're here in Texas, in the Lone Star State, a bastion of faith, family, and freedom. And in my estimation, as Texas goes, so goes America. It's true. But don't worry, we got you. As Texas goes, so goes America. But all the more important, while we cannot fall asleep at the wheel here in Texas, while we cannot settle for complacency, though we are doing very good, and you heard from the governor, you heard from Connie and others, Texas is doing very good, but I believe we could be doing great. We're #1 in categories such as job creation, economic growth, energy exportation, and others, but we have a lot of work yet to do. We need to be #1 in education, transportation, healthcare, border security, working hard against the federal government encroachment and fighting against entitlement programs. You want to kill an American dream. Then you kill the idea, say, you know what, if you work hard and have determination, anything is possible. Don't worry about that. We'll take care of it. We got to fight against the entitlement programs. We have too many people in our generation that have a dream but aren't willing to step out. That's our job, to help them, to lead them, to encourage them, to challenge them. We in Texas are uniquely positioned, given the right leadership, to make tremendous strides, monumental legislation for the posterity of our state and our nation, to set the standard, literally, in America. Money is not the panacea, the solution to all the issues facing our state and facing our nation. We got to rely on conservative principles, free enterprise, free market. Businesses create jobs, not government. The Texas model works, but it needs to be improved upon in critical areas like school choice, educational opportunities for 300,000 kids stuck in school districts that are underperforming and underserving them. How about tax reform? for hardworking Texans and Texas businesses, repealing the margins tax which shackles Texas businesses and give them freedom. Freedom to grow, freedom to reinvest back at their company. We're doing good in Texas. But remember, good is the enemy of great. We need to set the precedent. As I close, don't you like when preachers say, as I close? Ladies and gentlemen, there's a great battle going on for the very soul of our country. And this battle is not just between political parties or factions within political parties. This battle is between right and wrong, good and evil, darkness and light. But there is a battle indeed. All the eyes in the world are on America. We have a great opportunity in America to set the standard, to engage and reinvigorate our culture and our society. Remember, we have a dream and a vision for the restoration of America. Well, I'm going to tell you something. The trains of transformation are smoking hot, and they're moving quickly down the line. And I'm going to tell you, we need everybody to get on board. Are you willing? I encourage everybody to take inventory. See what's holding you back, if anything, from being engaged, to reinvigorating, to getting America back to what it's supposed to be. Reagan said this, he said, freedom is only one generation away from extinction. Let us not be the generation that exercises in the extinction of freedom. Instead, let us be the generation that propagates and fights for freedom in America today. God bless you. I appreciate it.